Mr. Patterson, could I start with you, please? Would you say that Fujitsu is an ethical company?
Firstly, if I may just comment on what I've just been listening to this morning to the Subpostmasters and their families. Fujitsu would like to apologise for our part in this appalling miscarriage of justice. We were involved from the very start. We did have bugs and errors in the system, and we did help the Post Office in their prosecutions of the Subpostmasters. For that, we are truly sorry. To your question, Chair, around our ethics, I believe we are an ethical company. The company today is quite different to the company in the early 2000s, and clearly we need to demonstrate that both to our customers, to government, and to the wider society here in the UK.
I've got in front of me, Mr. Patterson, the Fujitsu Code of Conduct. It says, we treat customers, business partners and competitors fairly and with respect. Did you live up to those values when it came to the Subpostmasters?
No, we did not. It is very clear from the evidence before the committee and also in the inquiry that our standards were not at the level that we adhere to and state, as you've rightly read. I am personally appalled by the evidence that I have seen and what I have saw on the television drama and the statements I've seen from the victims to the inquiry. So we did not stand up to that in those periods of time.
And do you accept that Fujitsu evidence was used to put innocent people in prison?
Yes, there was evidence from us. We did have we were supporting rather the Post Office in their prosecutions. There was data given from us to them to support those prosecutions, so yes.
Do you accept that before 2010, your staff knew that there were problems with the Horizon system?
The information that was shared with the Post Office as part of our contract with them was very clear. So the Post Office also knew there were bugs and errors. They also
can you tell us how much you now think your company should contribute to the compensation bill?
The inquiry is dealing with some very complex matters over...
Is there a moral obligation, Mr. Patterson, for you to contribute?
I think there is a moral obligation for the company to contribute, and I think the right place to determine that is when our responsibility is very clear. There are many parties involved in this travesty.
But I've just read your last set of accounts which have been published. You've not made any provision in those accounts for a contribution to the compensation, but you're telling the committee today that you believe there is at least a moral obligation for Fujitsu to contribute.
When the inquiry finishes...
That's a simple yes or no.
Well, so
is there a moral obligation for Fujitsu to contribute?
I've already answered...
It's okay, you can keep going.
Okay, so yes, I believe there is a moral obligation, and I've already said that. I think it's also important that the inquiry deals with these very complex matters with all the parties involved. Yes, we have a part to play. Yes, the Post Office. Already this morning we've talked about lawyers, we've talked about the law. I think all of those matters need to be discovered to bring transparency and to bring the truth. And in that context, absolutely, we have a part to play and to contribute to the redress, I think is the words that Mr. Bates used, the redress fund for the Subpostmasters.
Thank you very much. Mr. Lake.
Vote means in many ways secretly. If you've got people in your offices or wherever accessing remotely the Subpostmasters accounts and altering them, that's covert, isn't it? So without the Subpostmasters having any idea whatsoever of that happening, in fact, it would border on, I'm not a solicitor, but certainly would border being on illegal in my view.
The support and the interventions from remotely from Fujitsu has been documented, and it is clear. The Post Office was certainly aware of that remote access, and that was clear for some period of time.
The Post Office denied that, didn't it?
I believe they did.